When you marry up social media with SEO, it was actually a perfect partnership. Every brand should have a brand ambassador. And if the business owner is not the brand ambassador, they should find somebody who will be comfortable in front of the camera. Building familiarity with an audience. It's the easiest way to actually have a sales conversation. With the emergence of AI, people want to work with people. So it's more important than ever to build that personal brand and be present.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host, Ranmay here. And today we have Jason Hunt, who is the co-founder and CMO of Merged Media Limited. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good. How you doing today, Ranmay?
Doing well. Jason, before we move any forward, let's kind of rewind a little. Why don't you talk us through your journey a bit, how it all started, how's it going, and also about Merged Media, what do you guys do, what are your core offerings, and we'll take it off from there.
Definitely. Merged Media started back in 2015. Well, technically in 2019, but let's go a little bit further back than that. I started a social media agency back in 2015, servicing a lot of small local businesses. Now, back in 2015, social media marketing was pretty cutting edge at the time, right? You go into a small business at the time and they'd be like, yeah, I'll throw some money at social media. We'll give that a shot. Nowadays, if you try to call somebody about social media, you're probably the 85th person that's called in a given day. Times have changed quite a bit, and it was only social media that I offered from 2015 to 2019. In 2019, I came to the realization that I had to be a more versatile digital marketing agency. And that's when I merged my company with a locally leading company called Casio, and they were an SEO firm. And the reason why I did that is because at the time I was like, you know what, what's this SEO stuff? You don't need to pay for SEO, because I was a social media agency. It's all I knew. So when I talked to leads or prospects, I'd be like, I downplay SEO. Don't get that stuff. Put your money in the social. So when I teamed up with Todd and his company, my business partner, he said, okay, give me the keys to your website and give me a few months. And I said, okay, sure, whatever. And I gave it to him. And next thing I know, we're getting nonstop leads. We're ranking across the country for social media management companies. And from there, I had my kind of epiphany. And it's like, wow, this SEO thing does work. And so we merged our companies together, hence the name of my company, Merged Media. And now we're going on strong growth year over year. And we're in our 6th year together now.
Lovely. Mergers and acquisitions have their own, complications. So you have gone through one. I would really like to, you to help us and our audience understand what are the key factors that one should look out for in such a scenario, wherein your business is getting merged, and what are the things that one should avoid?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the most important things when you're going through any sort of a merger or partnership is ensuring that the traits, qualities, and characteristics of the business or the business partner offset yours, right? So when you marry up social media with SEO, it was actually a perfect partnership, because on the SEO side, from a service standpoint, it's doing a lot of the technical back end stuff on websites. So anything that was technically related went to that side of our business, where anything on the creative side stayed on the social media side of the business, right? So it really had that really good sort of synergy between the two companies. Now, from a business partner standpoint, my business partner, Todd, is the exact opposite of me. He loves doing operation stuff. He loves living on spreadsheets. He loves doing the SEO stuff, living in the back end of websites. I hate that stuff. So for me, I like doing things like this, talking to you, being social, speaking at conferences around the world, and being on stage and being the brand ambassador for the business. So our partnership as partners, equal partners in the business, is absolutely perfect. We did have another partner previously that didn't work out because their personality did not jive with our personality. So I think that's one of the most important things when you go through a merger, if you are partnering with another company, is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each party and offsetting those.
Yeah, and that should complement each other, so that is an ideal situation for a business, right?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. And talking about your agency, Jason, and then let's start, after the merger, right? Initial days for an agency is kind of difficult to get those early clients, keeping the lights on, creating a team. As one of the co-founders would be wearing multiple hats, doing hiring, doing selling, delivering, ops, and human resources, books, accounts, everything. So talk us through those challenges and how you navigated your way through.
At the beginning, right? So at the beginning, what I did was I really leveraged those first handful of clients that I had. And a great example of this is one of my first clients when I started my social media agency was a shawarma chain, a franchise. And I got in the door with them and I got that one business. They had 20 franchises when I started working with them. And it was kind of a bit of a household name in the local community. The name of the restaurant's Osmos. And it was very easy to go to a plaza that had an Osmos restaurant in it, walk into that business and be like, hey, look, I do the social media for those guys. Do you want me to do your social media? And of course, they knew Osmos. So they would go on their social media, see the work that I did, and be like, yeah, let's do it, right? So using and leveraging the existing relationships that you have, whether you have one client, 3 clients, 30 clients, is so important to create that snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about clients, what is your trick for, ensuring that the clients kind of stick to your agency? I mean, considering the retention part of it, how do you ensure that the relationships are being built and they are, not just coming and going and kind of are sticking around?
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, you're always going to have churn, right? You're always going to have churn
Yeah.
in your business. It's tough
As a
to
business,
avoid,
yes.
right? You can't control, in a lot of cases, you can't control a business's marketing budget. You can't control, things that are going on within the business, right? There's certain things you can control and you can't control. From a retention standpoint, what's important is having account managers that care. I think care is the most important thing because it's very easy to just provide a service and be very transactional and reactive. But what our clients appreciate most is our account manager's ability to be proactive, be more embedded in the business, understand the business, flip the switch, and hold that business owner accountable. Right? Because what fails is when a client is relying too much on us or too much on an account manager and the account manager is not delivering to them what their expectation is. So making sure that you're being proactive for those accounts helps with the retention.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about Chatello. I mean, what's in there?
Yeah, so Chatello.ai is a tool we created out of a need that our clients had. And what that was is retaining traffic on websites. So SEO is a big part of our business. So how can we retain people on websites for longer? That was a question we asked ourselves. And so we came out with Chatello.ai, which is an AI agent that lives on websites, but it's not like any other chatbot. We integrate it with OpenAI, so it has humanistic conversations rather than your sequential, hi, how are you? I'm good. Can I help you with this service? Book a quote. It's more conversational. So if you go to one of our clients' Chatello.ai chatbots, you can get free consultation. We work with a landscape company, for example. And in that landscape company, you can go to them and get recommendations on landscape ideas for your home. And you don't have to pay anything. You can just talk to an expert, and that expert is in the form of an AI agent or Chatello.ai chatbot.
Talking about AI tools and platforms, now what is the best use of an AI tool that you're using in your agency?
Yeah, so we have a list of tools, and obviously we've tried probably close to 100 in the last year to see what actually works. And it's probably spending way too much time than we should on it. And this is actually a topic that I speak about at conferences around the world, is finding those tools that help not just, because everyone looks at AI and it's like, oh, I can save a lot of time by implementing this tool. But what's more important than that is the enhanced output of what AI can present. So an example of that is having a client that's we have a client that owns a wellness medi spa. Okay. And the target audience are females 50 plus. All right. Now I can sit here for hours and try to think like a 50-year-old plus female, but I'm not a 50-year-old plus female, but my AI can speak to that person. And the closer we can create messaging that resonates with that audience, the better CPAs we're going to get. So that is one example on how we're using it. Tools such as, there's Notebook LM, Napkin.ai, obviously using our Claude projects. These are all great resources for us to create messaging that resonates for our clients. I actually have a list that you can provide in the link notes if you want, where people can receive the 5 top AI tools that our agency uses. I'll give you the link. It's jayhunt.social/AI tools. So we can send that link in the comments for after, for anybody watching.
Absolutely. And you did mention about, speaking globally. You also got your own podcast, right? Obviously, this does a world of good for your personal branding, which I'm 100%, in agreement with. As a business owner, you should actually go out and create your own brand. In fact, for everyone rather, right? But how does it also fuel your brand's growth? I mean, how do you think it has actually enhanced merged media's visibility worldwide?
Yeah, 100%. I think, and I always say, I think every brand should have a brand ambassador. And if the business owner is not the brand ambassador because they're not familiar or don't like being in front of the camera, then they should find somebody who will be comfortable in front of the camera, right? Because what everybody wants, especially in the time we're in now with the emergence of AI, people want to work with people. So it's more important than ever to build that personal brand
I'm
and be
glad you said
present,
that.
right? So like this conversation we're having right now, like this is just, obviously helping the personal brand. It's helping getting more exposure and building familiarity with an audience. That's key, building familiarity with an audience. So people see me on this podcast, maybe they'll go read my blog, maybe they'll follow my podcast, Drop the Mic, and then from there it's, maybe they'll become a client someday. And the thing is this, is that I find it's the easiest way to actually have a sales conversation. I've had so many clients that, after they sign that line on a proposal, I only find out months later that they were listening to my podcast for a year. They were
Yeah.
reading my blog for 6 months. And I walk away
Yeah.
from the conversation or that sales call being like, wow, that was the easiest sale ever. It's only
Yeah.
because they knew me before I knew them, because of all the
Yeah.
exposure I had on podcasts or my blog or my own podcast, right?
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with that. Perfect, Jason. Just has been a great conversation. But before we let you go, a quick rapid fire.
Let's go.
All righty. Your last Google search.
Ooh, last Google search. AI conferences in North America.
All right. Your next event that you're going to speak at.
I'll be speaking at the European Summit in Prague on September 13th.
All righty. Your celebrity crush.
Ooh, when I was a kid, I fell in love with Britney Spears.
All of us were actually from that generation, right?
Not anymore though. Not anymore though. She's went a little off the deep end.
Yeah. So, where do we find you, Jason, on Friday evenings after office or after work?
Relaxing with my 3 kids and wife, having a glass of wine in my backyard. Boom.
Very nice. All right. We'll not grill you any further, Jason. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this with us. For our audiences, if they want to reach out to you, how would you want them to find you?
Yeah, they can find me by going to my website, jayhunt.social. That's JAYHUNT.social. And you can find me on all the socials from there. All my social links can be there as well. I'm very active on LinkedIn, very active on Instagram as well.
Lovely. Thank you once again, Jason. Cheers.
Thanks for your time, Ranmay. Appreciate you.